I want to get Ken Dilanian in here to the president's extensive efforts to discredit the Russia investigation. Sources tell the Washington Post that Attorney General William Barr has been traveling the globe urging foreign intelligence officials to investigate the origins of the Russia investigation. The Post reports that Barr traveled to Italy last week with U.S. Attorney John Durham, whom Barr tapped earlier this year to investigate the investigators of the Russia probe. This is what we're talking about, believe it or not. A Justice Department spokeswoman would not say whether Barr discussed the election inquiry. NBC News has also confirmed a report from the New York Times that President Trump asked the Prime Minister of Australia to help Barr in his effort to discredit the Mueller probe. Ken Dilanian, I'm gonna hand this all to you on a tray and tell me which one stands out to you as the most important or the most concerning for our republic.
Well, I just think it's remarkable that with all that is on his plate, the Attorney General of the United States is finding time to travel the world to promote this inquiry into the origins of the Mueller investigation. And we really don't know what the predicate to this is. There hasn't been a credible allegation of wrongdoing surrounding how that investigation was opened, number one. And number two, there's already an Inspector General review, at least of some of the ways that the FBI secured national security warrants against particular people. We don't even know if this Durham thing is a criminal investigation or what is it. And in fact, it's gone to the extraordinary lengths of having DOJ people question CIA officers about their intelligence estimates. And my sources are saying to me, what expertise do Department of Justice investigators have in how we assess whether Vladimir Putin ordered an operation or not? It's extraordinary, and it sends a message to our allies. Is another thing that my sources are telling me that is deeply concerning. That these senior officials in the U.S. government, whose bidding are they doing? Are they doing Donald Trump's personal political bidding, or are they doing the business of the United States? And there's another thing I wanted to get to, though, on this issue of secondhand information, because these people keep repeating this. And the Inspector General of the intelligence community, Michael Atkinson, who was a career Justice Department official before he took this job, put out a rather extraordinary and detailed news release and statement about this yesterday, where he said there was an issue with a form that suggested that a whistleblower shouldn't have only secondhand information. But he laid all this out and explained that this whistleblower actually had official and authorized access to the information and sources referenced in his letter. And the whistleblower checked a box that says, I have personal and or direct knowledge of events or records involved. And also a second box that said, other employees have told me about events or records involved. So the notion that this whistleblower was simply, repeating some water cooler rumor is totally false. And the ICIG would not have put his credibility behind this and called it an urgent concern, which, by the way, this is the only urgent concern complaint in the last year that's been attempted to pass on to the Hill.
Hey, can we just underline right now that Inspector General was appointed by Donald Trump, and the acting DNI who said that the whistleblower acted in accordance with the law was appointed by Donald Trump? This is not a deep state conspiracy. These are all Trump appointees, some appointed in the last month or two, or 3 or 4 months, Trump appointees who are all saying that this went by the book.
That is absolutely right. And Joe Maguire, the acting DNI, who was subject to some criticism from Congress, now seems to be in good standing, because the folks I've talked to feel like he handled himself well in a difficult position in that hearing. He doesn't want to completely trash his boss, the President of the United States, but he's following the law. He's supporting the rights of this whistleblower to remain anonymous, and that's very important.
And not to mention the whistleblower's information lined up with the summary of the phone call that the White House provided, so we have that as backup 100%. As well. Ken, let me ask you again about these trips the Attorney General is making around the world on behalf of the President, looking into American intelligence agencies. And maybe there's a good answer to this, but I can't seem to find one. Why is the U.S. Attorney for the state of Connecticut, who's usually in Hartford looking at insurance companies, why is he traveling the world on behalf of Attorney General Barr, and sometimes with Attorney General Barr, from Connecticut, going to Italy to take these meetings?
Well, the answer to why him is a simpler answer. John Durham is a man who has conducted these complex and special investigations before. Most notably, he took a hard look at the CIA and the issue of torture and whether any CIA officers should be prosecuted. And he spent a long time digging into that. So he has experience with the intelligence agencies. And at the end of the day, he did not file charges. And what he found in that inquiry has remained secret to this day. So that would be the reason that he in particular was picked. But we still don't really understand, again, the premise for this entire thing. That no one has put, and you know, we're hearing rumblings from the DOJ that Durham has found significant things that will be of interest to the American public. That may be the case, but we haven't seen any evidence so far that there was anything inappropriate or amiss about this Mueller investigation. And the other thing that's extraordinary about this is, you know, this is occurring after, from Trump's perspective, he dodged a bullet on Mueller. There was no clear articulation of criminal charges, criminal conduct by Donald Trump. And yet he's still obsessed with this to the point where he's sending his top officials out around the world to gather information about it.
But Ken, even, you know, you can talk about all the conspiracy theories that Donald Trump's chasing, and he wants Rudy Giuliani to go over to Ukraine to chase a conspiracy theory that the Russians weren't involved in that. He's got Barr running around chasing conspiracy theories for him now. But if you look at the investigation, Ken, they keep going back, and all of Trump's supporters on the Hill and all the Trump supporters in the media. Can I look at Ken since I'm talking to Ken? Thank you. It's not that I don't like looking at Mika, but I like to look at Ken. Thank you, TJ. God, TJ, he's back and he's still ruining things for us. But it seems to me it's like this Fox News show I was watching last night where the host was ranting about Joe Biden firing an investigator to protect Hunter Biden. It's been discredited. The Wall Street Journal front page says it's discredited. In this case, they're talking about the Steele dossier as being the improper starting point of the Mueller investigation. Like, even the Wall Street Journal editorial page said it last week. That is a lie. That is a discredited theory. It was discredited months ago. It doesn't hold up to the most basic timeline. Well, and yet, Donald Trump is sending his attorney general to investigate wrongdoing, and people still are waving the bloody flag of the Steele dossier.
I was watching the same show you were last night, Joe, and it struck me, imagine if this kind of network existed during Watergate. Because you're right. I mean, I think these kind of things take up a mythology and they infect the body politic, and enough people are talking about it on Twitter. And so people in the Trump administration believe this stuff. And they can't shake it. And William Barr is not a stupid man. Mike Pompeo is a Harvard Law School graduate, a West Point graduate, and yet they are still engaging in trafficking in these discredited theories.
All right, still ahead. There is yet another figure in Trump's orbit under increased scrutiny this morning. The president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, has been subpoenaed by 3 House committees. What he's saying about the possibility of testifying. You're watching Morning Joe. We'll be right back.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.